Thank you to our audience for coming back to join us. And hello to our online listeners. Apparently there's been 7,500 something of you. So from all over the world, which is really impressive. Hi, waving from Australia. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And could we have David make a comment, please?
Look, great capture, but lighting and retouching, I think, is a problem there. Maybe able to revisit that.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 83, silver award. And could we have a comment from Nathan?
Yeah, this is a really strong image, really visually beautiful, and I put it in the very, very strong silvers. I would have liked to see a bit more expression or a bit less expression on the subjects. They weren't quite silhouettes, but there wasn't enough to really read their faces, so we were left kind of half reading those emotions. So just, I guess, shadows lifted or dropped out completely.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 80, silver award. And Kelly, a comment from you?
Great use of composition. I think I like the split sort of moments happening here. I just think that timing, there's not enough going on in each room, and perhaps I just think the black and whites need a bit of lifting as well.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 81, silver award. Thank you. And Kylie, a comment?
Hello. Sorry. An interesting concept. Perhaps a little bit lighter, just to get more detail. But I was actually captivated by the composition that we've got there.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 86, silver with distinction. Thank you. And Alan, a comment from you?
I'm not sure if I can add more to getting up into the goal, but it's an absolutely amazing shot. Yeah, it's beautiful, including the guy right on the far right who's just really not even attempting to help.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver with distinction, 85. Thank you. All the scores are quite close together. Could we have a comment from Kylie? Thank you.
Really beautifully designed. The photographer's seen the light and mirrored that with the way that the dress is flowing, and lovely detail enough in there. I'm wondering what she's bowing to. There doesn't seem to be any connection with any other person there, and that could have added a little chunk that might have made me go a bit further.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. It will go for review, David. I can see your pain. He's 4 points away, so can't challenge. And so could we have Nathan? Could you make a comment, please?
Yeah, sure. This is an exceptional moment, but I think that any time a dog shakes water off its back, the real story is in the response of the people. So I wanted to see more of that instead of those guys on the edge, not quite sharp. There's got to be more frames that this photographer saw, because I think that will be where the story is.
Okay, thank you. So it lives a little longer. Check it out in the review room. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, so this will also go for review with a close score range. And could we have a comment from Alan? Thank you so much for volunteering.
Very, very well put together image, like great vision to actually capture this. I think we just wanted a little bit more showing of the actual dance of happening and coming down the tonality on the left hand of the frame as well, so it matched.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And could we please have a comment from Kelly?
Sorry. I'm enjoying the location. It's just the posing's just a bit too stagnant. Just needed a little bit of atmosphere.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. Kylie would like to challenge on 82. You've got 3 75s and a 74.
Yeah, I might be out on my own a bit, but what I gathered was that we've just sort of taken this image of the bride and she's just so serene. She's just been captured so beautifully, and that to me was going beyond that professionalism and that we're looking for. And then the printing quality again, I'm just really impressed by that nice degree of sharpness where it needs to be sharp, and the beautiful contrast that's there. So I was 82, I was a low silver, but thought that the photographer had just gone beyond with that presentation for us.
Kelly on 74.
Yeah, I agree. It is nice, and for me, within professional practice, it's the body language. It's a bit of an awkward lean back, and I think, and the cropping's just very restrictive. So I'm not sort of enjoying the eyes, and I'm not sort of being mesmerised by that, I think. But the lean back just feels quite awkward.
Thank you. Any other comments? No, they're all much the same.
Just rescore.
Back to you.
No, I'm happy for
Yeah,
continue
okay.
on. Thank you.
So Kylie's score of 82 is locked in. The current average is 76. Please rescore. And it stays at 76. I'm sure the photographer will be pleased with the feedback. Thank you. Blank screen, please. Yay. Which means we've finished judging this section. So we're going to stay... We'll probably have a bit of a shuffle around of you guys, and we're going to do review prints shortly of this section. So this will be the single capture images that will be reviewed from the other room. So, where'd you rub it? Nathan, why don't you tell us, they're not ready for reviews, no. Why don't you tell us about what it meant to win the WA Wedding Photographer of the Year?
That's quite a broad question. That's a good question. It's nothing and everything. It means that we keep doing our job and we're validated for what we do, but also that we have the people we most respect enjoying our work as well, which is a whole different thing. Clients loving our work is good, but that kind of acknowledgement is just another piece that says my favourite heroes are high-fiving me for good work too.
Nice. That's a warm and fuzzy feeling, isn't
So
it?
that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many photographers really kind of throw their trophies into their clients' faces and say, because I won this award, I'm something good. But it's really great to just have them there.
Okay. So did you get some media coverage out of it? Or?
I could have. APPA did great. They contacted me. They said, send us all the details, tell us your local papers. And I said, I'm going to leave the state and kind of go to New Zealand instead. So no, I didn't use that media coverage at all, but it was available.
And so what was the decision not to have the media coverage?
Love is a good start. I would say balance. I would say balance between passions. That I was happy with the business of photography, and I've got a spin-off business of magazine design, and I thought that I was just going to keep that balance and not be overwhelmed with 40 weddings for another year. So that I feel like that's a win. And also love.
Sounds like there's another story going on
Yeah,
there.
Rachel Calendar, I'm dropping the mic.
Thank you. So this is a review process, Alan. I know. Yeah. Okay. So judges, front and centre. So what we're going to do, I'll just go through it slowly. So the print will come round. I will announce what it's currently sitting on. If you'd like to go up, you're most welcome to do that. And then please come back to your seat. When you get back to your seat, then show me your decision. If you'd like it to stay at the score it's at, make sure you're showing me the red side. If you'd like it to go up by 1 point to the next category, please show me the green side. So can we have the first print, please? So this print is currently on 79. Do we want to stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? And it goes to 80. Congratulations, silver award. Next print, please. This print is on 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? No, it stays at 79. Next print, please. This print is on 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? Unanimously to 85. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is also on 84. Do we want to keep it at 84 or upgrade to 85? Thank you. We already did have a 3 majority vote, but we'll wait for you. It upgrades to 85. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? Yes, it upgrades to 85. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? No, it stays at 79. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Yes, it goes to 80, silver award. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Thank you. It upgrades to 80, silver award. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? No, it stays at 79. Next print, please. This print scores 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Yes, it goes to 80. Silver award. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Do we want to keep it at 84 or upgrade to 85? Yes, unanimously 85. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Do we keep it at 79 or upgrade to 80? And it's unanimous yes. It goes to 80, silver award. Thank you. And that is the end of the reviews. So thank you. It's the end of this subsection. So judges, you can stand up, turn around twice and sit back down again. And we will be back with you in a moment as soon as we get the next category started. Thank you, judges. Thank you for your patience while we just had a little reshuffle. Judges, hello. Kelly, Alan. Thank you. So this is now the open wedding category that we're going to be judging. So we'll just reread this out to refresh what it is that we're looking at. So this category is wedding photography that represents industry practice, including but not limited to creative posing, photojournalism, post-production, storytelling and image presentation. Entries into this category must be commissioned and captured during the client's real wedding or civil union. The only exception is for cultural differences where weddings can run over several days. Entries into the wedding category will be judged broadly based on content, impact and professional quality. Very high standards of traditional wedding styles should be duly recognised, as should images that reflect the highest level of contemporary market expectations. Judges should also consider the entries in the light of the category. Is the entry a great example of wedding photography? Images that are more interpretive or contemporary in nature may be better entered into illustrative. So this is the open category, and if several photographic elements are used, all the elements must have been taken at the same wedding or civil union, with the exemption of borders and textures. So here we go. So even though they're judged in two separate categories, there will still only be one ultimate wedding award. All right, judges, your undivided attention. First print, please. Hang on. The computer's just thinking about kind of the little blue line. You know, Can we just have a blank screen for the moment, please, print handlers? I might just try pressing the button again, see if that works. Tony, it's not loading. Our judge. Sorry for a bit of a... We're on such a good start there. Computer glitch. It hasn't rolled our screen over to allow us to get the scores. So, Alan, hi.
Hi.
What project do you work on personal photography projects as well as client projects?
I do, but I don't really have any happening right at this moment.
So previously, what's been your favourite project?
I think the one where I ran around photographing comedians in their backstage spaces during the Comedy Festival in Melbourne was pretty fun.
Ooh, that sounds good. So that do you have to get a lot of permissions to get backstage? How did that work?
The fun thing was all the well-known comedians knew who I was, so they let me in, but all the unknown people were skeptical. So I could get people like recognizable names, but then the up-and-comers were very scared.
Okay. Scared because of...
Crazy fans with cameras.
Okay.
But I wasn't one of them.
No, you were just... Okay. And what did you do with the collection of images?
So I had an exhibition at the Arts Centre of... I think it's the Arts Centre of Victoria, the one with the big pointy, the building with a big pointy thing on top of it.
Okay,
so
cool.
That, and I got Weekend Australian magazine, heaps of stuff.
Lovely. Oh, worthwhile. Thank you. Right. And we've resolved our glitch. Thank you very much. And can we have the print back, please? So, judges, just re-enter your scores. Thank you. And we have a silver award, 82. And could we please have a comment from David?
great composition, very relaxed, walking through the park, which I liked. It's very believable for me.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 84, silver award. And it will also go for review. It's on the break point. And could we have a comment, please, from Nathan?
Yeah, sure. It's very graphical and different, and I put it as high in a silver as I could. Improvement can only be the actual elements within it, because they're silhouettes and it's a great colour palette. So reading more of a story and identity into the couple, I don't know, I don't really have improvements. It's a perfect high silver image to me.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And could we get a comment, please, from Alan?
So this is a very classic standard photo you see a lot, produced a lot. Got to be careful of blowing out some highlights, and also something that could lift this style of image up is potentially with the words actually having some connection. So there needs to be an extra, to really take a shot like this to an award level, you need a lot of extra little nuggets in there for us to latch onto, because this is just a very standard, almost cliche wedding shot.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. Kelly, could we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I think with the lighting, it feels like it was hard to actually make out that they were bridesmaids in the stairwell alley thing. They're a bit too dominant for me, and it took me a while to get to where I wanted my eyes to go to, which is the couple. And it's a little bit dark for me too.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. And Nathan, yes, would like to challenge on 88. You've got an 82, 77 and 2 75s.
Excellent. I really like this in silver distinction, and I guess I would like to hear the rest of you, and then I can talk a whole lot about this. I feel like it's a very, very solid image. Step one on a really constructed image, you want it to be believable, and I feel like it is in terms of the story and the hanging, and it feels okay. None of the stitching is noticeable as far as I can tell. It's fluid all the way across, so it's a really believable structure. It's visually appealing, saleable for clients and art galleries from any level, and just the little story of the separate couple, she's dancing, he spots her, he overcomes great odds to drop down to her level. They snuggle in and read. They do this kind of journey of knowing to each other. The trauma and conflict of him almost losing everything. They drop the bouquet and the love, but they end up together in the end. It's a good little story, and I feel like there's a lot to honour and very little to pull out of this. I feel like it sits well in silver distinction, but I'd like to hear other people's comments.
Thank you. David, 75. You were
'Cause
trying to not look at me, weren't you?
There's nothing in this image that I can believe. The groom is not dangling, he's not hanging. It's like it's impossible. You can't do that. He hasn't even got his suit creased. So, but I do believe there's an award-winning image in there, and that's that centre one where they're sitting on the clock. Just give me that one, and yeah, it's definitely home and host. Beautiful location, but sorry, I can't go along with the storyline.
Thank you. Kylie on 82.
I thought there was one too many pictures. I thought the one at the end was, we didn't need that. There was a lot, and I think what I was seduced by was that background. I think the flow was beautiful and the stitching was excellent, but the bride and groom do seem a little bit stuck on for my liking. I'm in silver. I'm listening to you, but it's that story and that cutout that I'm just not convinced about just yet.
Thank you. Back to Nathan.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to go with you guys are listening, and as a team we'll come up with a really good score, but I don't think a 79 is a good score for this image. I'm really glad I put it high enough to be able to challenge, and I know Kylie's with me. We don't want it so believable that we feel terror. What we're feeling is story, so we want to feel comfortable with the journey, and it's not like placing a newborn baby on the edge of a cliff. We'll feel terror, even though it could be a dramatic image. So the hanging guy, he did his feet really well. The effort behind this, as a photographer, I feel like there's a lot of construction and excitement, and everyone came to the party with this. And I'd love for you guys to bring this up into a solid award. And I'm trying to address, what else did we say? It's really just believability, wasn't it?
Thank you, Nathan.
Okay, fine. I'm in 88. I really like it there. I don't like it at 79.
Thank you. Nathan's score of 88 is locked in. The current average is 79. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes up to majority 79 now. So it will get reviewed in the other room. Thank you, judges. It all helps. I'm sure the entrant was listening and enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 84, silver award. And it will also go for review to the other room. Thank you. And we can have a couple of judge changes, please, if we've got Andrew and Jerry as well. And yes, you're quite right. Thank you. Just before we do that, we'll have a comment on this photo. And looking. Not David, because he's chewing, or you do want to... Kelly. They're all having chocolates, so they've got a mouthful of chocolate.
What did it go? 84. I scored this 83. I think it's a great silver award. I love the mother, nonna, whatever, coming down the stairs. It just, I think perhaps the printing, it's just needed that sort of lift, but the groom coming through that shadow and walking into the light, it's really well done. Good job.
Thank you very much. So we're going to swap David and Alan, thank you, and Andrew and Jerry are going to come in. Andrew, can you come and sit in this chair? Yep, thanks. We'll just try and get our microphones balanced up. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 82, silver award. Thank you. And a quick comment from Jerry.
A beautiful soft image. I love the negative space. The fact that you sent a composition there, I think, is good, and it's offset by the veil. I love the way the veil's sticking to the colours there, but it's just beautiful. I would love to see this huge on a wall. It'd be beautiful.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Could we have David? Could you just come and help us see? Thank you. We have an average score of 87, and Andrew would like to challenge on 92. You've got 88, two 86s, and an 82.
We're not far from a gold, really, yeah? As soon as this image presented itself to me, I looked at it and I thought, what am I going to fold?
Andrew, you do need to
Put it right up.
We'll adjust it from here.
So, as soon as it turned, it just presented itself to me graphically, composed, beautiful technique, and absolutely amazing execution. And I say that in the sense of the way that the bodies are placed in every single part of the image, they all tell a story. And they all tell a story in connection with the bride and groom in the middle. And everyone is so intensely put together with expressive as to be happy about the bride and groom. The cropping, and it's absolutely amazing in elegance, the way that this is portrayed. So I shall wait and see how I can bring this home and listen to what the other judges have to say. I'd like to see this go to gold, guys.
Thank you, Andrew. We're going to hear from David on 82.
Yes, look, the composition I love. It's just the people just look so graphic to me. I can't see the reality of the people, and I do struggle with that. And like whites, the guys with the white shirts, the whites are just blending into the background. So there's a few things there, and I'm happy to come up to silver distinction, but I'm struggling with gold at the moment. Brilliant composition, brilliant idea, but they do look like stick people. Sorry.
Thank you. Jerry on 86.
To get to the gold range, it really has to be unique and imaginative and creative. And I'm not saying the execution isn't. I think it actually certainly is. Really, I can't fault it. Perhaps the only fault that I could find in this image is the church obviously being perhaps not in the right perspective, in the plane of the people in terms of the sizing. But we've seen this before. So this is a great interpretation of a technique that's been used over the last couple of years. I think it's an incredible interpretation. But to get to 90, it has to be something that I haven't seen before, let alone executed really well. I might come up, but that's got a special place for creativity, that 90 plus.
Thank you. Back to Andrew.
I
Through
take
the
it.
chair, please, Andrew.
Sorry.
You don't get to choose who
I'm so
talks.
sorry. I apologise.
That's
I'm
my
a bit
job.
I'm a bit excited because this print presents itself to me, and it's oozing with everything. I think if the church was a little bit closer, maybe the message would be that we are at the church, but perhaps we're not at the church. It's distant. And if we look at the car on the right-hand side, in balance to the church, it's well held together beautifully. And I'll take the comment about the white shirts, because what we're looking at is really a graphic shot. It's photographically done, but it's absolutely amazing. To me, it's perfect in a sense. If we look at the tyre of the tyres of the wheel, they have this white surroundings which separates everything so evenly. And then the barrel, if anybody notices that the gentleman standing or sitting by the barrel in support with all that elegancy presented in the white lines from the picket to the barrel to the wheels. I'd like to see this, guys, go to gold. This is amazing.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew's score of 92 is locked in. The current average is 87. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 88. Silver with distinction. Thank you, David. Thank you, Kylie. Next print, please. So just while our judges are looking at this photo, just to explain to the audience, a judge can step back at any time. That's perfectly acceptable. We don't ask them why. They don't have to tell us why. They might have seen it before. They might know who it belongs to. They might have printed it. And so in total fairness to the print being judged with fresh eyes, they just step back and we have one of our other team members come in. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. And Jerry is going to comment.
So if this was a moment found, there's not enough going on to give me emotional impact that really complements the beautiful perspective. If it's something that's been posed, when you're shooting up above, you really want the couple to lean away to be balanced with your perspective, to be in parallel to your perspective so you can see what's going on.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have average score of 83. Silver award. Thank you. And a comment, Kelly?
I love the image just on its own of the bride with the lipstick. I think it's stunning. It's really well lit and printed well. It's just the technique for me is just too much. Just pull it back sometimes.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Andrew would like to challenge on 82. You've got 77, 76, 76, 74.
Thank you. Perhaps we could bring this a little bit higher into the silver range, purely in its simplicity in the way that it's been designed and presented itself to us. I predict this is probably somewhere, the Greek islands maybe, on a very sunny day. And yes, the only element for me not bringing it a little bit higher for me is the umbrella on the right-hand side. But I believe that should be there as well, yeah, in the sense that she's walking towards her ceremony perhaps, the subtlety in colours and the softness that this brings to the image. It's such a beautiful image to look at when you move close to it, with the centre, just the bride as she's walking away, and it's so beautifully done. And yes, the soft hues, for me, work well with this image, and perhaps I'd like to hear what the other judges would say about that.
Thank you. And Jerry on 74.
Certainly has impact. Love the colour palette there as well. If I'm looking at the girl, the bride, I feel like if it's been posed, it hasn't been posed well because the arms are directly straight. If you were walking down that path, you would ultimately bend your arms, which is also something that we do. We want to break the monotony of those strong lines, which is sort of, it's countering that feminine touch that we sort of want in this image. Now, looking at this image, if you sort of squint at it, it almost looks like a butterfly. I would have loved to have seen the bride maybe a bit more in the foreground and take advantage of that location. I feel like it's an opportunity lost a little bit. So I don't have, it's not convincing as a posed image, it's not convincing as a natural image. And then that umbrella on the top there, on the top left-hand side, is quite distracting as well.
Thanks, Jerry. Could we hear from Kylie?
Jerry stole my thunder. I was going to say exactly the same. Perhaps the bride had to come forward just that little bit and break those harsh lines with a little bit of softness.
Thank you. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you, my fellow judges. If we have a look at this image, if she came forward or went backwards a little bit more, the arms would not be held by the beautiful staircase in the background of whites and blacks. And they've been so strategically placed to present itself, to show that she's got an amazing set of arms, and I would not have done anything different to that print. Perhaps because if we did bend the arms or anything like that, it wouldn't have had this strength in communication.
Thank you. Andrew's score of 82 is locked in. The current average is 77. Judges, please rescore now. And it stays at 77. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. And could we have a comment, please, from Kelly?
Yeah, for me, a lot to do with paper choice. It wasn't, that could have been improved. And I just feel like the bike crossing through the frame really didn't add to the image as well.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. And thank you to our category sponsor is Atkins. They do fabulous printing and albums and I think frames as well. So they're out at the trade show. So before you leave today, make sure you go over and check out their stand and thank them for being a sponsor in this category. We have an average score of 78. And Andrew would like to challenge on 83. You've got 79, 78, 76, 73.
Sorry, guys, but it's always me that pushes things forward. I say this element presented to me is absolutely beautiful. If we look at the backlit on the subject, being the bride and groom, absolutely amazingly handled. The colour palette that this image brings to us is so beautifully done. We're looking at the tree on the left and the tree on the right, holding it nicely together and leading our eyes across. The printing is beautiful done too, and even having said that the photographer had this wonderful landscape to work with, I think the author has done that extremely well. So let's bring this to an 80.
Thank you. Jerry on 73.
First of all, beautiful impact, great for the wedding album, great panorama. It's just circumstantially very tough to include the sun and it be effective, especially in competition. Certainly there's the flare there, I think actually works well. If we crop the top third, I think that'll actually be a lot better. The couple, although they're backlit quite beautifully and they're framed nicely with the foliage, I don't feel any feeling between them. They're very static. Now, one might say, well, how are you going to pose them when they're that far away because the photographer had to walk far back? What I do is I actually call the groom on a mobile phone, put the mobile phone in his top pocket, put it on speaker, and then I adjust him, just by ringing him and speaking to him, and that way. And the best advice I can give you with posing, in a quick way, is sometimes when they're stiff, it's like blowing up a balloon really fully. So what you do is you blow up the balloon, and then let the air out. If we let the air out of this pose, he would have slightly bent his leg, shifting his energy towards the bride. She would have shifted her weight on the back leg, slight little dip there, a little bit, add a bit of movement and energy into the shot. So when the environment screams romance, it has to be replicated in the pose for me to convince me that everything is screaming romance and drama.
Thank you. Nathan has a brief comment to add.
Everything Jerry said, and I also... The shot isn't the sky or the sun. If we bring it down, we still have a beautiful landscape and a journey. And the blur filter around the edge and all the way across the top, I don't feel like it's needed. It doesn't feel as believable for a depth of field of infinity anyway. Such a beautiful location, though. Such potential.
Thanks, Nathan. Back to you, Andrew.
This is why I'm asking for a silver, because if it had all that, it'll probably be a high-scoring silver. I did think about cropping it in a sense, but the colour palette above, I think we would lose that altogether if it didn't exist. Certainly enough, if we have a look at the bride's dress, the way that it's been placed so perfectly, there would have been someone there to set them up so nicely so that the human figure was shown through the dress. And having had all the halo around the body, that is almost a wonderful image for me. Yes, certainly enough, you could have got their heads closer together or something like that. To me, that doesn't mean it's not a silver or anything like that. And even bringing the sun in the background, it's beautifully exposed.
Thanks,
it's
Andrew.
Soft. Sorry.
Thank you. What happened to succinct comments? Thank you. Andrew's score of 83 is locked in. Current average is 78. Judges, please rescore. And it stays at 78, but I'm sure the audience enjoyed the debate and conversation. And all those fabulous tips. Woohoo. Thank you. Next print, please. We have a majority score of 85, so with distinction. In a moment. No, it's not an automatic challenge, but there are two judges who can challenge it. So does anyone want to challenge the photo? By majority 85. Hang on a minute. So, excellent. Well, this is going to make an interesting debate because Nathan is actually going to challenge it down. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm going to challenge it because I can.
No.
I'm on 78.
Yes.
I think it. I want to talk about it. Is that allowed? I
Okay.
feel it feels like
Can
it
you
needs
talk to me
validated.
rather than to the other judges? No, just sit there. We want to hear what conversation is. Okay, so it's a majority score. So 3 of your judges have said that they believe the score is in the silver with distinction. My job as a panel chair is to say, Andrew wanted to talk about the photo, and we have to finalise the score.
I would like to challenge
We
it
have to
down.
I'm still
on
speaking.
78.
Wait.
Sorry.
I have to finalise the score before we can chat about it and give a comment to the judge. So it's my job to say there's 2 judges who can challenge the score if they wish to. Does anyone wish to? Now, you said you would like to challenge it. Your score is on 78, which is considerably lower than the average score.
Yes.
That's what you'd like to do.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes. So I will accept Nathan's score. Now, you understand that that's locks in your score, Nathan, of 78?
Yes.
Yes? Right. We'll start the challenge with you, Nathan, and then we are going to hear from Kylie.
Thank you. Okay, this is going to be a lackluster challenge, but I feel like with a 78 and an 88, I need to hear the conversation. It looks like a commercial image and it's flawless. And I put it in 78 because I couldn't find the wedding story. And that's all I'm going to say because I want to hear conversation about it.
Okay, so when you challenge, you actually have to have a belief in why you gave it that. It's not about wanting to challenge.
No.
Okay, just to be clear. Thank you. So we're next going to hear from Kylie, who is on 88.
Okay, so a bride and groom have chosen a particular location for their photographs. And it's an awesome location, and the photographer has come up with an awesome image for us to enjoy. And I was with you. I'm going, where's the bride and groom? I can't see no bride and groom. And I had to go looking for them. And I actually found them. And it was like, I went, oh, I found them. And it was like a Where's Wally moment. Oh, I found them. And they are tiny. They are very, very tiny. And they actually do blend into that location. They are right smack bang in the middle. And they are just a little graphic nature, but the graphic nature blends in with the graphic nature of the rest of the image. So I think it actually works very well. I could see this perhaps in their album as a panoramic, and if that's the case, I think it works exceptionally well. So there is a thought process that has gone through, and I think the photographer is challenging us to embrace something that is very, very different. So I've gone 88, and I think it's definitely worth a silver distinction.
Thank you. We're going to hear from Kelly on 76.
Yeah, I actually scored it the lowest. So, look, Kylie, I think yes, it's an interesting location, but they've made it more interesting, but flipping it and adding it and twisting and turning it to make it more interesting than what it really is. And having the couple so minuscule, this is the wedding category. This is about a wedding day, and I know we can't make assumptions, but I didn't enjoy finding them. I found it very busy, very overwhelming, and yeah, that's all I'd like to say about that.
Thank you. We're going to go to Jerry.
I have to admit I couldn't find the couple, and I'm actually had to start to wear glasses in the last couple of years. And if you heard me having a conversation, which I know is not allowed, I was purely like, where is the bride and groom? Kylie pointed them out, and as soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense, because I'm like, I love this image architecturally, it's incredible. I don't care what genre of wedding photography we're looking at, as long as you convince me of it. This is not meant to be romantic. This is not meant to give you warm and fuzzy. This is an architectural study on a wedding day with the bride and groom very cleverly, conveniently placed and well worked and well retouched. Could this show up in a modern couple's home large? This is really appreciated, not as a 10-inch print. This is appreciated as a 60-inch print. But I'm convinced of what the photographer was trying to do here. Although not emotional, very impactful, very well done.
Thank you. And we may as well hear from everybody. Thank you, Andrew. Briefly.
I'll be really quick. I think this is in the right category. I'm not one to say what they
We're not judging categories. We're judging this print.
This print. Well,
it's
I'll say
in
that
front of you.
only because a comment was held before to say that may not have been a wedding print. What made a wedding print for me was the intricacy and for me to look where the bride and groom was. But when I moved close to it and I saw it, it's perfect. It's perfectly placed in where the author put that for us to embrace that it is a wedding photo. To me, it makes no difference if they've used elements to flip or not. This is extremely well done.
Thank you,
and
Andrew.
I would not bring it down.
And so we're going back to Nathan, who is on 78, for your rate of reply.
So what I'm hearing is that it's structurally perfect and really saleable, and when you get up close you can actually see the silhouette of the couple, and they're actually posed really well. And I didn't see that they were a silhouette the first time, so I'm seeing that as well. I'm hearing that it fits into the wedding category, not that we're talking about categories, and that it actually works a whole lot better than I noticed. So my challenge to you is to rescore. Thank you.
Nice save. So Nathan's score of 78 is locked in. The majority score is 85. Judges, having listened to the debate, please rescore now. And it goes to 85, silver distinction. Nice teamwork. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award 83. Thank you. And a brief comment from Kylie.
I was counting whether there was even number of women to men, and I don't think there is. Oh, it must be a girl thing. Interesting to see such dark silhouettes like this, but then composed into another graphic nature. Very interesting. I don't know where its application would go, but congratulations on the silver.
Thank you. That's okay. And thank you. We're just going to shuffle a few judges around. Andrew, thank you so much. David's going to come back and join us. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 79. So your scores are quite close together. It will go for review at the end of the panel. And could we have a comment, please, from Nathan?
Yeah, beautifully treated, but the distortion all over just is tricky for me. Distortion and cropping.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Andrew, can you just jump in, please? For colour. Thank you. We have an average score of 84, silver award. And it will also go review. Thank you very much. because it's on a break point. And Jerry's going to make a comment for us.
Very strong. Love the colour palette. Everything looks great there. What I would love to have seen is whenever you're doing a silhouette, think of the word silhouette. You want to see shape. When those arms of the bride are around the groom, it causes some weird things going around the groom's shoulders, and it separates them. So you're dividing that beautiful, that love heart shape that happens when two foreheads are touching. And so the air between them is really, really important.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. Thank you. And yes, can we have a comment, please, Kylie?
Well, we're speaking of silhouettes, and in this category, I know you could have removed those clouds, and I think if they did bring it back to that really stark black and white, it might have had more impact.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We've got an average score of 77. And a comment, please. Nathan, yep, thank you.
Yeah, this is beautiful graphically. If the couple were doing something, any kind of connection, then it could really bring it up.
Lovely, thank you. And on that lovely comment, helpful, we'll give you a little coffee break. Thank you very much. And Alan's going to come and join us again. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. By majority, we have a score of 85, a silver with distinction. Thank you. And a comment, Jerry.
So certainly a great interpretation of like very dark silhouettes, and graphic silhouettes have been repopularised in our industry. So I love the colour palette, and it works as a work of art. It's beautiful. They're very hard to get those colours right and those shapes right that just feel good.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 87, silver with distinction. Challenge, yes. Lovely. And stay there, Andrew. Alan is challenging. Alan's on 92. You've got an 88, 87, 85, 83.
So immaculately printed. The tonality through this and just that colour, it's just beautiful. Like all technically perfect. And then you see the story, and it's like, oh great, like separating the bride and groom and their child at the top, and everyone down the bottom. So they're having that moment with their child, and then you flip, and it's like, oh, it's night and day. So underneath, you're actually showing the evening. So you flipped it, so everyone's on top, the bride and groom are down the bottom, and you can see from that light in the bottom of that silhouette behind them that it is actually evening. The lights are actually on, and so that's really outstanding in terms of visual communication, in terms of actually thinking this shot has been thought about. The photographers had to go to the same location across from where it is twice to shoot this brilliant shot. So I believe this is up in that gold range, and I'd love to hear some other people.
Thank you. And David on 85.
I struggled with the visual communication. I found that the flatness is sort of deflecting that communication. I'd love to have seen just a little bit more contrast put in, so as those people did pop. And you've really got to go searching for them, and maybe that's the challenge, I don't know. But I love the top, but I'm struggling with the bottom part of this image, because you've really got to twist your head, look upside down to find them. They don't automatically just jump out at me.
Thank you. Kylie, and 88.
I think that is the challenge, David, because I actually tipped my head upside down, and it was that thought process. So I was with Alan. I'm only in the high silver distinctions at the moment, but I think it is one of those challenging pictures in a way to present such a lovely location, but show the progress that's happened over the evening. So I'm listening to you, Alan.
Andrew, briefly.
I'm with you with this one, Alan. I'll probably bring it to gold myself. I'm looking at the archways with the top part of the image in reflection to the bottom. And if you look very carefully, the bride and groom are standing in a doorway and they're backlit. And no one on the balcony. So the reflection itself is an amazing story being told. That perhaps to me that means that they got married. And then during the reception time, up the top with everybody, all their guests, they went to the top room and introduced perhaps their child, their daughter. So there's a nice little story being told here. And I don't mind the actual technique that's been used for this particular image, because it works absolutely well for me.
Thank you, Andrew. Back to Alan.
So with the flatness of this image, when you look back at those really old sort of early 1900 photos, they have that kind of feel. And the architecture around this image suits that era. So I feel this has that kind of historic kind of feel about it. And again, as it has been already pointed out, you know, the top and the bottom. And I love the fact that the bride and groom are with everyone, but, you know, they're still separate. So it's two completely different wedding stories that show the difference in the day. So the bride and groom with their family at the top with their child, and then finally, you know, at the bottom, they actually get them the time for themselves. So I believe this is a gold. I'd love to see you guys come up.
Thank you. Alan's score of 92 is locked in. The current average is 87. Judges, please rescore now. Thank you. And it's Gold Award 92. Thank you. Nice teamwork. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Kelly, a comment?
Great idea. Cool concept. It's just again that flatness. You're just not dealing with many tonality here. It just needed that lift for me.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. David Oliver's going to challenge. He's on 85. You've got a 78, 77, 76, 75.
Really enjoying this one with the composition and the cloud formation, which is vignetting them perfectly. So it could have been constructed, but who knows, because it's done so well that it's totally believable. I do love the palette of this image and the color palette, the pose. It's very relaxed. Even the kiss, they're just missing, which is I quite like that. That just tiny little bit of separation, just about to touch, and it's sort of very. I think that's very sensitive, but I think I'd love to see this in the silver category, and it's just a 2 mark short. So
Thank you. Kelly on 75.
I think there's just too much going on in the sky. It's too dominant. But specifically as well, that luminosity and saturation of the blue coming through the shirt and the dress is I don't think meant to be there. And the in-between kiss, yeah, it's not quite there for me in their connection and expression as well.
Thank you. And Jerry, thank you.
In terms of the posing, I'm not convinced that it's. I'm not feeling the love if it wasn't posed, and I'm not convinced that it's actually a good pose if it was actually directed. Really, you want to actually try to remove the groom's hand that's covering up the thinnest part of the bride's waist. That's very important. She's also shifting her weight to the leg and the hip that's closest to the camera, so she looks quite square. And then his arms are very right angles, so there's not that emotion that's mirroring the drama and the romance of their faces. Everything in this image has to convince me of romance, and I'm not quite convinced.
Thank you. Back to you, David.
yeah, I guess I'm giving the marks to the composition and the sky and the creativity of keeping them low and letting that sky create this lovely mood and that perfect vignette. I think it's an interesting picture, but I'm happy to go along with you guys on this one.
Thank you. David's score of 85 is locked in. The current average is 78. Judges, please rescore now. Judges, have you re-entered your scores? Okay. We have a glitch. Can we have some technical help, please, and a blank screen? Thank you. Our screen's not resetting. That's okay. No problem. So we must be up to talking to Kelly. Da-da-da-da. So Kelly, grab a microphone. Come on. You can
Tell us about that tattoo just right there.
No, we're keeping it photographically based. Well, unless it is photographically based. Oh,
Somewhere.
yeah, I'm sure they are. Kelly, you're from?
Canberra, ACT, Australia.
Wonderful. And you have your own business or you work for someone else?
I have my own business.
Yes.
No, yeah, okay. Yes, I run my own business, kellytunneyphotography.com.au. It's actually not my website, it's just kellytunney.com.au. I also run a business with a little fellow called Dan O'Day, who is missing in action, not here this year. We co-own All Grown Up Weddings as well, so we're a wedding collective agency. So we have, there's 10 of us, and we shoot weddings all around the globe as
Right.
well.
So how does a collective agency work?
Well, Dan and I are in charge, which is fun in itself, and we have a few shooters here in Melbourne, Sydney, Blue Mountains, and they shoot weddings for us, and we look after them and mentor them and teach them fun things. It's great.
Lovely. Well, thank you for that. And in
Pleasure.
the meantime, you're off the hook because we've retrieved your scores. Can we have the print back, please? Thank you very much. All your scores were locked in and the print was rescored at 78. It stays where it is. Thank you, David. I'm sure the entrant appreciated your effort. Thank you for your patience. And can we have the next print, please? Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Alan, can we get a comment from you, please?
It's beautifully executed, shot, beautifully printed. It's coming down to pose and getting some believability and just something that's showing us a little bit more connection between the bride and groom rather than just putting your foreheads together.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Kylie, a comment? Thank you.
For me, it was the knee and the thigh is just a bit too heavy, and there's no foot to give us an elegance. But it's a very interesting concept. So if you could do it again, I'd work on it again.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And can we hear from David? Thank you.
Look, great imagination, but if you look at the lips on the groom and the bride, I'm presuming groom and bride, there's a lot of blurring, and unfortunately the retouching there hasn't quite worked.
Thank you very much. And can we have the next print, please? Yes, you can. Andrew? Thank you, team. We have by majority a score of 89, silver with distinction. Jerry would like to challenge and Kylie would like to challenge. I'm going to accept Kylie's challenge in fairness to the photo because she is on 98 and that will lock her score in. And so we've got a 95 and 388. Thank you, Kylie.
Hello. How visually exciting and how innovative to see shoes. I was just blown away. The graphic nature is obvious, but it's taking us on a journey from something very, very compact and complete to opening up. And the last little image, from my seat here, I see a face. And I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if it just happened that way. But whatever's been done, the creativity and the innovation in what I see there is just amazing. And I had no option but to go into that gold distinction 98. The printing is exceptional. There is such fine detail in that image. And when this gets out on the wall, you've got to look at it close. I'm just blown away by this creative photographer. And it's a pair of shoes. 98, I am gold distinction.
Thank you. Thank you. We might hear from Alan on 88.
Hello.
That one. Yep. Got it?
Yep, we're good, I think. Yep. So yeah, I agree with all that Kylie's kind of said. I still get some disconnection with the final image. I need some more explanations. I can understand this is a really great graphic image of some shoes. It's designer and all that, and the shoes are a vital element to a wedding. So I just need some help bringing me up just at the end.
Thank you. And we're going to hear from Jerry on 95.
For those of us who've shot weddings, we know that detail shots are really important to brides and grooms and things like that. I personally find no emotion in detail shots. I normally want to humanize what I call detail shots with a heartbeat by putting the foot in the shoe and things like that. So I was reluctant to even judge this because I'm quite cynical about detail shots that don't have the human form, but I'm like, let me look at it objectively, and Jerry, you've been judging for a while, you can do this. I look at this. Who has the patience to do this? The degree of difficulty to do it, let alone that well. And the fact is that we're looking at a blueprint as a metaphor, but also realistically of a detail shot that someone has finally done something different with shoes. So when I see it, it is a blueprint, and if we didn't have that break of perfection, I think we would have dismissed it as too predictable. So the fact is that those little elements in the top right and the bottom right, I feel that give us that break that we actually need. I find that, if you make things perfect, they become predictable, but you just give it that little bit of a break, and now it's given me a little bit of emotional content that I can't really describe, but it's there. So I'm a 95. I don't know if I'm right there, but I'll go a couple points with you.
Thank you. And we're going to hear briefly from Andrew.
Definitely with you, Kylie. I can see all that. I'm not sure 100% how to interpret this, but I'll try. And I am looking at a face at presumably at the end of the image, which is the final result, with two doves flying away into the sky. However, I'm not sure if I would be right in saying that perhaps it could be some kind of form of cells or anything like that to produce a pair of shoes at the end. Maybe I'm reading too deep into that. But if we do look at faces as well, the second circle from the left has faces in it. And the elements of those shoes are in all of those circles. You've got the platforms of the shoes.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sorry, so I'm going to go up on this one. I'm going to go gold distinction.
Thank you. So, we're talking about a considerable score here. Does anyone else have anything to add? Yes.
Just to be really honest with you, I'm really challenged, and I'm trying to be careful that I'm not going to give it a higher score because I'm challenged, and I feel that the end part I don't understand, and that's not a bad thing. But yes, I can see that they're shoes and they're done differently. It's just that narrative as to why they're sort of fading off to the end is like what I'm lacking. Just to fill that hole would help me.
Thank you, Kelly. Back to you, Kylie.
This has become fine art. And fine art, we're not supposed to be able to come to a conclusion, I don't think. We could sit here for days and just keep looking at it and come up with different analogies. But for me, each individual element is still photographically recognisable. And as Jerry said, somebody's had the patience to create this for us and create this for their client. That's become an artwork, and an artwork that can be appreciated. And it's presented to us so beautifully and so innovatively that we should be rewarding that creativity that's right there in front of us. 98. I don't go to 98 too often, so I'm asking for gold distinction, please.
Thank you very much. Kylie's score of 98 is locked in. The previous score is 89 by majority. Judges, please rescore now. Thank you. And we have 95 gold distinction. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next print, please. And we have Nathan. Can you come in? Thank you. We have an average score of 81, silver award. You have to go. Yes, can you go back out again? Thank you. Thank you. And could we have a comment, please? Sit down, Alan. Thank you. Jerry's going to give us a comment.
Beautiful colour palette, nicely executed. The pose is actually quite nice. I would love to see the bride's chin slightly down and the groom's chin up. When two faces form a puzzle, it's aesthetically pleasing. They fit in perfectly. Also, we're seeing a lot of shots with the groom always on the right-hand side. If we have the groom, who's usually tall on the left, our eyes read usually from top left to bottom right, so we could easily flip this and it just gives us that little bit of extra bite.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. Yes, you can, Andrew. Andrew's on 84. You've got 278s and 277s.
I believe we could move this into the silver award, guys, because having said that, once again this print presented itself to me with the colour palettes and the splurge of beauty, the way that it's been handled in the printing and everything else, and as well as the technique that's been applied to us to look at, I feel that it is in the silver range. Some of us might say, and this is purely me speaking, that the bride and groom are a little bit too standout-ish in the sense of it being white so much. But if we move close to that, it's been handled beautifully. Everything has details and beautiful expression as well. So I'm looking to see what the rest of the judges have to say about moving into a silver.
Thank you. We're going to hear from Jerry.
Love the way the photographer actually framed the couple with the branch. And it's a nice, it's a really good shot. It's a saleable shot. I guess this is just it. Should a working professional photographer be able to achieve this in this environment? I believe yes. No disrespect to the photographer, but it's executed well under the circumstances.
Back to you, Andrew.
We're 1 point away for silver, guys.
You're
and
not actually.
Oh, we're not?
That's the average score.
Sorry, average score. So,
Yeah.
sorry, my apologies.
Everyone else is on 78
yeah.
and 77.
Having said that, we moved to this location, and in the sense of it presenting it to us as a sellable shot, or perhaps as a work of art or anything else, we don't have much to work with in this landscape. But the way that the photographer and the author has utilised these, absolutely amazing. So we have the curvature of the actual branch, which leads our eyes in that circle to hold our attention with the bride and groom, with the softness and the dark background to hold everything together in place.
Thank you,
I
Andrew.
feel it needs silver. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew's score of 84 is locked in. The current average is 79. Judges, please rescore. And it stays at 79 and we'll go for review. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We've got an average score of 76. And Jerry is going to comment.
Nicely designed portrait. Just a quick little tip. Whenever you have a different size bridesmaids and groomsmen and so on, you want to, certainly they're all beautiful, the girls are beautiful, just the bridesmaid on the right, slightly bigger than the other girls, sandwich her between someone else, put one of the thinner girls on the side and you'll balance that up a little bit.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 82, Silver Award. Thank you. And can we have a comment, please, from Alan?
Great story. I think one of the things here is with the little dancer right on the right-hand frame, something a bit more connected that keeps her, see some face and some expression. Can sort of bring this up.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 81, silver award. Da- who would anyone like to challenge? You've got your hand up, Alan. Alan's got his hand up. Let's take Alan. Alan's on 86, David's on 86. We've got an 83, 79, 73.
So I feel there is a story here. Again, print quality and, having that background being kind of like a contact sheet from the old days of all the different images, which is fantastic and shows bride and groom. And the repetition of the matting with the window in the background. But what it doesn't show us who our missing hidden silhouette is. So for me, that is representing someone the groom wishes to be there, and rather than have it in a position where it's like a sad thing, it's not a dark shadow showing, it's a happy kind of experience. So whether it's the father or something like that, I feel there is a connection there. The expression on the groom is fantastic. I believe that all that come together to bring it up into that silver with distinction range.
Thank you. Jerry on 73.
This is a very tough image to judge. I was almost going to step off. It was just difficult to really interpret. And I guess let me explain why. I actually really appreciate the way it's matted. The oval on the top I think is really cool. The images all multiplied I think are very effective. The minute we actually got the guy with his glasses and the shadow sort of holding him, it humanized it a little bit. It's almost like when you're watching Game of Thrones and Ed Sheeran shows up singing. And I'm not meant to be funny, I'm just trying to give you a metaphor here. It broke the mystery to me. I want to be lost in this image, and I'm lost in the background. I think it's really, really cool. But then when you get the groom in the foreground holding his glasses, it turned mystery into respectfully almost gimmicky, and I'm struggling to get over that.
Thank you. And could we hear from David, who's also on 86?
I think it's the mystery of the guy who isn't there that's convincing me that this is an interesting picture. We want to know more about this character. Is it the father? Is it the best man? Or is it one of the groomsmen? Is it one of his best friends? But then we've got this great expression as well that I think really works. The expression on the groom, or it could be a groomsman, we don't know. But I think, if you look at the composition and all those elements and all those small little pictures as well, I think this is sort of going to the creative side of creative imagination, and I think it needs to be rewarded. I think it's an amazing picture.
Thank you. And back to, did you have anything to add, Andrew? No? So back to you, Alan.
So just to address the whole difference, so majority of the photos in the background are quite, they're quite posed. They're very posed. And the fact that the groom is holding the glasses, to me, shows something more candid. And when you're with your best mate, a candid photo is sometimes the best photo. And if your best mate or your dad isn't there, and that's the shot that you would ultimately love to be having as well, that to me is the story that I've put into this. So you've got all your formal photos, but there's just that one photo you can't have, which is that happiness with that missing person that you would love to be there. So that's the story I get, and I believe it's strong enough to be up in silver distinction.
Thank you. We've got Alan's score of 86 is locked in. The current average is 81. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 85, silver distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Andrew, thanks. Thank you. We have an average score of 86, silver with distinction, and Kylie would like to challenge it. She's on 93. We've got two 85s, an 83 and an 82.
I'm challenging this because I want to know when a photograph no longer becomes a photograph, or when a photograph no longer is a photograph. And I'm torn with an image like this that has stripped so much information away from us, but yet there's still a lot of information there. In this image in front of us, what took me over the line into that high visual communication was there is that soft silhouette in the background that I can just see the profile of the bride and groom within that ring kind of shape there. It's so unrealistically photographically that I'm struggling with it, but in terms of the card I have to read off, we've got creativity, innovation and technique, and it's excellent in all those forms. And one thing that I did sort of laugh at is the photographer makes a presence in the image on the right hand side at about 10 o'clock. So it's again that story. There is a whole story of the whole day there. It's the night and the day, it's the wedding ring, it's the bride and groom, and it's become another artwork again, not just a photograph.
Thank you. And we're going to hear from Jerry on 83.
So at 83, I think I was being generous, and this is no disrespect to the photographer. I think that they've actually seen an idea and emulated it and put their own spin, and it's fantastic. I'll be honest, if I could challenge it down, I would. And this is all very respectful. I feel that 85 and above, the word imagination and creativity creep in. I think in execution, perhaps we have those things, but this is very similar to what we've seen the last couple of years. And I feel like if we as judges reward things that have been done before, and quite similarly, we're saying it's okay to do this. And I'm saying it's fine. We all emulate, we all do these things, but I think we're very generous at 86. To go up to that 90, it's got to be original, and unfortunately, it's just not.
Okie dokie. And we might hear from David on 85.
Silver distinction, professional excellence, superior visual communication. I can see that, but I can't see outstanding visual communication. And I want to see something new. And yes, we have seen them before. I think this is done really well. And that's why I gave it 85. But to go to that next level, I'm just not sure.
Thank you. Back to you, Kylie.
Yeah, and I guess I'm struggling too, and I went to the opposite direction as what you guys might have done. Yes, I've seen similar images to this, but I haven't seen the exact storyline that I'm getting here, and there's lots of little indications that we are at a wedding and we're nowhere else. So I went the route of the vision, exceptional vision, creativity and innovation. Maybe innovation is what we're questioning, but in terms of the image in front of us, I think there's that new degree. It's not just that flat image. There is depth there, which I've not seen before, and there is that shadow. So that's why I'm in gold, and I'm asking for a little bit more.
Thank you, Kylie. Kylie's score of 93 is locked in. The current average is 86. Judges, please rescore now. And it does stay at 86, silver with distinction. Thank you very much. And team, you've been working so wonderfully this morning that you've earned a lunch break. So we're going to take a break for 45 minutes. Please be back here in the room at 2 p.m. So, and please go and thank our sponsor, Atkins, for sponsoring our category. Say hello to them and thank them for their support. Thank you, everyone.